This is an interior design chapter. So this is, it's not a book. It's actually something which I had kind of written and I researched, and I'd also kind of picked up stuff from here and there because I spent a lot of my time reading and researching and following trends and through various programs where you participate, you learn every day. I mean, day before yesterday I was sitting in a coffee shop, and the moment I checked on my Facebook and I checked out a few sites on design and stuff, I thought, oh my god, there's so much more to do. So this is where one has to decide the kind of environment and space they want to be in, because environments are supposed to inspire you, motivate you, and you're supposed to kind of feel efficient, and you're supposed to be at your creative thinking or your expression, which is your soul. So a lot of people put in soul to music, writing, movies and stuff. Even talking is an expression, and writing is an expression. So how does it all start? So it starts from home. So your personality begins and is basically honed from school, and then you go back home, and that's where it all starts. So when you're in design, when you're in architecture, when you're in technical stuff, when you're in strategy, when you're in branding, when you're in global works and stuff, it's very important to take care of two things. You have to keep your immediate environment, which is your personal spaces where you spend maximum time, which is home. Could be your bedroom, could be your living space, could be the TV room. If you have, like I have, one room designated to working from here and stuff. So you have to make sure that that room is clean, because that's where you start your day. Not depending on servants is also a good idea. And I'll tell you how. I mean, you train your servants or your cleaners to kind of stay focused and disciplined. You have like one time where you want everything done. So people follow you. You have to set the rule in the house, and you have to kind of call the shots around it. And you're not going to be depending on the stories and excuses most households face, which is some servants or cleaners coming in late and stuff. Take action, fire them, because trust me, my experience with my health concerns and stuff has taught me to slow down. But now I'm feeling better, and I want to be back on track, and I want to be at my usual stuff, doing stuff, being there, meeting people, spending time. What is I for? Enjoying, having fun, shopping. The weekend is for a lot of stuff and all that. So I realized that if I'm going to keep waiting at home for, let's say, a cleaner to turn in, or at my office for a cleaner to come in and do the stuff, then I'm going to be spending my energy in a wait and watch. And the whole focus goes on to that. So how do you deviate from that? You basically kind of set or tidying up. It's like scheduling a meeting, and you start early. You wake up and you don't wait for 2-3 hours for the beds to be made. There's certain days you can feel like that. If you're not feeling good, if it's really cold, you have a health issue or something like that, you can do it. But the point is that put in a habit. Maybe you can have a cleaner coming in and helping you. You can ask your family people to help you and stuff. You can do it on your own, but make sure your bed is done, your clothes are folded, your wardrobes are clean, your washrooms are clean, your desk is clean, where you spend maximum time you work from. And you kind of have to ensure that you have good kimono, and you have good aesthetic sense around the space you work from and stuff. So the read is basically about a lady, which is she's also from an advertising background, and apparently she got into lots of other things, and then she's into because she's been in advertising and stuff, and she starts her own brand. So she has a lot of personal care products which she takes care of. So she says, I look after personal care products, and I basically look after cosmetics and all that. So what I thought when I was kind of going through her experience in the book that I had read previously, is that we all have cosmetics at home. We have to make sure that we're looking after it. They're nicely placed in their windows. You have like a space which is designated for those. You have to kind of make sure that empty bottles are thrown. Nail paints, perfumes. You have fragrances, and you have lipsticks, and you have liners, and you have jewelry and stuff. You have to make sure that stuff is thrown away. At least the display that you have has to be very clean. And many of us know it. I mean, there's so many people, I'm not alone, there's so many people I know. You open up a drawer and you'll see the jewelry not kept in a nice fashion, but because probably people are short on time, or they don't have help or whatever. So it doesn't speak about those people. Maybe it's like that. And from that you pick up on sentimental items. They are picture frames, you have photos, you have typewriters, you have a music system, You have recording machines, you may have clothes of your grandparents, you may have jewelry of your grandparents, you may have cassettes of your parents, you may have videos of your grandparents and your family or children. You have items which are passed over generations, which is probably vintage or probably which is legacy or whatever. So you have to kind of make space for all of those. All of those can't be used, so sometimes you have to be a little detached and practical and think what you're going to do and how you're going to kind of keep those and manage those. And it's also age oriented. At a certain age you may be really fond of something, like probably my grandmom's sweater is something which I really love, so I still have it with me. And every time I look at that in my wardrobe, I remember all the good times with her. So that's just an example, and I have it with me for so many years now. So similarly, there are lots of items which like elders of the family have passed on to me, and I've outgrown those. What have I done with those? So I have actually put them in a nice space like a cupboard or a console, and they are lying there. Whenever I kind of want to kind of revisit my memories and stuff, I look at those. There's a loft, so the loft has a lot of items and stuff, so this is where cleaning and tidying up those sentimental value products also helps, because having memories and having a legacy or having stuff which is given to you from parents, friends, or whatever at any stage is really important. You're really lucky if you have all of that. So she's talking about personal care, but I feel sentimental values also matter a lot. Like jewelry may be important for some people, picture frames may be important, photographs may be important, maybe gloves may be important. So whatever, I mean, it's to each one his own. And before you give them away, a very important aspect and element which I find amiss is that parents take a decision to throw away stuff which may be of emotional value or which may be of really importance to you hold it really close to your heart without asking you, they throw it away. So if you're a parent, please try and keep your child's sentiments and emotions also in place. They're also human beings. Check with them before you do this, and if it's okay, throw them away. If it's not okay, keep them, because maybe children have a certain sentimental value with it. And like adults, children are also going to be adults sometimes, and they're going to carry all of those beautiful memories with them and stuff. I also find that when you're basically in corporate areas, tidying up is really very important. You go to a bad office, you feel bad energies. People are normally fighting there. The mood is not that great and stuff. It's because that energy is got negative energy or negative people and stuff. No matter how beautiful the office may be, sometimes you'll find that people are not in great moods, and sometimes people are not great personalities and ever. So there's nothing wrong with the office at times. Probably it's where they're coming from, and that's the energy that they're carrying with them, or that's the kind of people they've become and stuff. So make sure that when you have spaces, each person or each category of a person is given a different space. Say for example, if you have a branding person, they're outgoing, they're strategists, they talk, they love to explore, they love to make friends, they love to communicate. Give them a different space. They are IT people, you make them sit somewhere else, because all they want to do is be on a computer, have their headset, not even look at people, smoke, do this stuff. So personalities are different. If you have let's say a salesperson, or if you have a marketing team, you make them sit somewhere else. If you have a designer who's supposed to be thinking through and is working on quality and concepts, you got to give them another space. And if you have let's say people who are kind of in recruitment, they sit somewhere else, because if marketing and branding and creative people were going to be all sitting on one floor or on one level, then there are going to be basically hiccups in the office, because in an office people are in their elements, in their energies. So you have all kinds of people, you'll have all cultural people. So some talk really confident and are full of energy. They're branded as loud or whatever, but I don't agree with that, because everybody brings their energy. Some of them are too soft spoken, so they are considered or passed on as polite, but maybe people will turn around and say, can you please get some energy and talk a little louder? So they may be different people. They may be from other cultures like Africa, they may be from France, Europe, or whatever. So they talk differently. So acceptance becomes a good idea rather than focusing on how people communicate. It's always good to kind of bounce off that energy and let people have their own space to communicate and express and stuff like that. So, and more importantly is in your spaces have joy, have positivity, because all these aspects of cleanliness, all these aspects of tidying up, all these aspects of good energy will automatically have a ripple effect, and people are going to want to spend more time in those spaces rather than just wanting to say, shit, I have to go to the office tomorrow again. So, because people come from different areas of and walks of life, different cultures, they have different home situations and stuff. So, it becomes, maybe a culture, or maybe the responsibility of the office guys to kind of give them that, space for having fun and being creatively expressive and stuff. And believe me, I mean, I'm back to my own office. I learned a lot of lessons in the first 2 3 years of being on the floor with graphic designers and with those silent people who are on their computers. Everybody thought 4 5 of us in our office who are from interior designing and architecture and the corporate world were loud for the office, but actually we were not loud. We are like, we don't have to justify, but the point is this, that the moment they put us on another floor, we met like-minded people who were in the other culture of IT departments and stuff. They had the same thing to say, that ma'am, they used to say this to us also, no matter how softly or how nicely we spoke. So sometimes it's not you, sometimes it's just people around who have personal preferences, or they've had wrong combinations of people on different floors and stuff. So nothing personal about it. Everybody has their own energy, everybody talks in their own way, and every time make it a point that when you're doing communication and stuff, rather than checking out on how the tones are and stuff like that, focus more on the quality and the exchange of information and stuff. So all of that really helps, and it makes talking really easy rather than checking people, correcting people, because you could be a teacher then in that case, or you would probably be a parent who's consistently doing that to your children. So you have to realize that everybody around you is not a child anymore or in college anymore. Most of them are adults. So everybody has their own ways. They have their own upbringing. They have their own strong points. And it's better to focus on the strong points and stuff. So these are a few pointers on kind of cleaning up, tidying up, not getting conflicts in your workspaces and stuff, having fun, feeling good when you wake up, saving time to reach office on time or to be anywhere on time. If you're not well, make sure cleanliness happens well on time, because if you're going to keep waiting for a cleaner or a nurse or a hospital person to come in, you're going to just want to be at home and not go out anywhere. So I'm saying this from my personal and professional experience. If this helps, great. So I'm on justinekapani.im at and jkapani@gmail.com. I'm the founder and CEO of I'm Decor and Design, and as I said, we are in the business of designing and manufacturing home and office decor and interior solutions. You have a great day and spend some time with people from different cultures, because then you will see that there are different people who are in high energy, low energy, and stuff, and you can always choose your zone carefully and enjoy and make the best of it. The purpose and objective is to give you a short insight on how cultures are, how people are, how tidying up can help you, what is sentimental and emotional value, because all of this is related to your work, all of this is related to your efficiency, all of this is related to feeling good and great, and all of this is related to living in a cosmopolitan city which has not just your immediate family, but it is a bigger world out there. So hope I'm making a lot of sense. Thanks for your messages and thanks for your emails. I'm getting more of personal messages and stuff, so please keep that in mind, and professionally please email me. And honestly speaking, I'm being very honest, I just don't enjoy having WhatsApp chats and stuff. I'd rather pick up the phone and have a chat. In Hindi, I'd like to save my time and I want to stay balanced. And if I were to spend my time just checking my WhatsApp messages and replying to messages and stuff like that, I will not be able to do the rest of the work which I want to do, which is my own work. So I hope you understand, and I'm not going to be responding to you at odd hours and stuff, because I think everybody has a decorum of being available from 10:30, 11 to a certain time of 7 or 8, until it's totally chaotic and some crisis happening or something really serious. So please respect people and their boundaries and times and stuff. And this is also known as corporate and professional etiquettes, which many people need to still learn and absorb. Even if you're an entrepreneur, if you are working for a telephone exchange, if you're working for art, if you're working for movie world or whatever, everybody wants to be respected and their time respected. So this is the greatest way Please value people's time and their space as well at work and personal. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.